Students, let us start NCERT or CBSE class 10, chapter metals and non-metals. In this chapter, we are going to study most likely 1 mark question and answers. The first question is, give one most suitable word for the following statements. They have given two statements. For these two statements, we have to give suitable words. First statement is metal oxides which show basic as well as acidic behavior, and second statement is iodine a shining non-metal. So for these two statements we have to give suitable words. We shall see the answer. Metal oxides which show basic as well as acidic behavior are called as amphoteric oxides. So amphoteric oxides can be defined as the metal oxides which have the property of both acidic as well as basic behavior. Then those are called as what? Amphoteric oxides. So aluminum oxide, zinc oxide, all these are called as amphoteric oxides. So for this statement the word is amphoteric oxide. Second one is iodine is shining non-metal. So for this statement we have to give another word, that is lustrous. If a metal or a non-metal which is having shining property, that property is called as what? Lustrous property. Iodine, graphite, these are two. Iodine, graphite and diamond are these are the three non-metals which are having lustrous property. Next question. Write the chemical equation or the reaction taking place when steam is passed over hot aluminium. So when aluminium is hotted, and that hot aluminium, when we pass the vapor or steam, then what happens? For that statement we have to write a balanced chemical equation. So the answer is 2Al plus 3H2O, arrow mark, Al2O3 plus 3H2. When aluminum reacts with steam, or when aluminum is heated to red hot, on that when we pass the steam, it is going to be converted to aluminum oxide and hydrogen gas is going to be liberated. So this is the reaction where metals reacts with water. When metals reacts with water, all the metals are not going to react with water, but some metals are going to be reacting with water in different conditions. Some metals reacts with very vigorously with cold water, and some metals reacts with hot water, and some metals when we heat them and pass steam over them, then they will only react at that position. So aluminum is a metal which is not going to react with hot water or cold water. It reacts only with water in the when it is going to be heated to red hot and passed steam over it. It is going to react with hot steam and produces what? Aluminum oxide, and hydrogen gas is going to be liberated. Then another question, students, what happens when carbon dioxide is compressed in water at high pressure? So carbon dioxide is a gas which is going to be compressed in water at high pressure. Then what is going to be happen? They have asked this question. So we shall see the answer. When carbon dioxide is compressed in water, it is get converted into carbonic acid. H2CO3 is the molecular formula of carbonic acid. It is get converted into carbonic acid. When carbon dioxide reacts with water or compressed under high pressure in water, it is get converted into carbonic acid. So the formula of carbonic acid is going to be H2CO3. Next question. Why oxides of highly reactive metals cannot be produced by reduced by carbon? Why oxides of highly reactive metals? Highly reactive metals are lithium, potassium, sodium. All these are called as what? Highly reactive metals. The oxides of all these metals cannot be reduced by carbon. Why? They have given. They have asked the question. We have to give the scientific reason for this statement. It is because highly reactive metals themselves are good reducing agents, like uh, sodium, potassium, lithium, all these are called as what? Highly reactive metals. They act as themselves as a reducing agent. Hence they cannot be reduced by carbon, because carbon is less reactive than all these metals. Next question is, give reason why electric wires are coated with plastic. So first we are going to know about the nature of plastic. Plastic is a substance which acts as an insulator. So that means it does not allow to electric current to pass through it. Hence it is coated on the electric wires which are made up of metals. Uh, So the answer is plastic is a non-conductor of electricity, or it is also called as what? This property is also called as what? Insulator. Therefore, electric wires are coated with plastic to prevent any electric shocks or to prevent any electric accidents. So next question is, give composition of alloys brass and bronze. So they are given two alloys. For these two alloys we have to give the composition. So we are going to see the answer. Brass is made up of copper and zinc. So copper and zinc are mixed in a definite proportions, then we are going to get what? Brass. And bronze is made up of copper and tin. So Sn is the symbol of tin. So when we mix these two in definite proportions, we are going to get what? Bronze. So these are the two alloys which are made up of copper and zinc and copper and tin. What is the formula of rust? So rust is formed when iron reacts with oxygen and atmospheric moisture. It is going to be coated with a dark red colored coating. That coating is called as what? Rust. So they are asked to give the formula of rust. So rust is hydrated ferric oxide. It is also scientifically the chemical name of rust is hydrated ferric oxide. Its formula is going to be Fe2O3.XH2O. Here X means number of water molecules. Ferric oxide, hydrated ferric oxide, that means it contains definite proportions of definite molecules of water content. Next question, an alloy has low melting point and is therefore used for electric fuse. Name the alloy and write its constituents. So they have given the use of an alloy which is used in electric fuses which has low melting point, and we have to name the alloy and we have to also give the constituents of this alloy. So the answer is solder is an alloy. Solder is an alloy which is used to which is used in electric fuses, which is having very low melting point. It is made up of lead and tin. It is made up of this alloy is made up of lead and tin. Next question. Name one metal and non-metal in liquid state at room temperature. At the room temperature, we have to name the metal and non-metal which are at the liquids at room temperature. The answer is mercury is a metal which is liquid at room temperature, and bromine is a non-metal which is present in the liquid form at the room temperature. So mercury is a metal and bromine is a non-metal. These are present in liquid form at the room temperature. Next question is, name two metals which react with dilute HNO3 and evolve hydrogen gas. So when metals reacts with nitric acid and evolve hydrogen, so we have to name the two metals which are going to liberate hydrogen gas when they react with dilute nitric acid. So manganese and magnesium are the two metals when they react with dilute nitric acid, they are going to evolve hydrogen gas. Next question is, show the electronic transfer in formation of magnesium chloride from its elements. So magnesium chloride is formed by one atom of magnesium and two atoms of chlorine. So MgCl2, its formula is going to be MgCl2. Magnesium is having two valence electrons and chlorine is having a molecule, an atom of chlorine is having 7 valence electrons. So one electron is needed by chlorine to get the octet structure, and by losing 2 electrons, magnesium is also going to get octet structure. So hence it is going to lose 2 electrons. Hence by losing 2 electrons, it is going to be positively charged, and two chlorine atoms, they are going to get one valence electron which is lost by magnesium, and they are going to form octet structure. Hence they gain 2 electrons from magnesium. Hence the valency of chlorine is minus. So by this type they are going to form magnesium chloride by the transfer of valence electrons. So they are going to form magnesium chloride is going to be formed. Next question is, what is the valency of an element with atomic number 35? They are given the atomic number of an atom which is going to be 35, and they have asked to write the valency of that element. So bromine is the element which is having atomic number 35. When we write the electronic configuration, it is going to be 2, 8, 18, 7. So we can see that here we are going to see that 7 electrons are present in the last shell. So its valency is valence electrons are going to be 7. So to gain the octet structure, it needs 1 electron. So that means it has the capacity to gain 1 electron. By gaining 1 electron, it is going to be negatively charged. Hence, its valency is going to be -1. So its valency is equal to -1 because it can gain 1 electron to become stable and get the octet structure. Next question is, why does stainless steel not get rusted easily? So we are going to use stainless steel utensils in our houses. They are not going to be get rusted easily because they are prepared from iron, carbon, chromium and nickel. So due to the presence of these all the constituents, the stainless steel is not going to react with easily moisture and oxygen content of the air. So stainless steel is an alloy of iron, carbon, chromium and nickel. Therefore it does not get rusted easily. Next question is, which property makes a solder alloy suitable for welding electric wires? So solder alloy is an alloy which is used for welding electric wires. So why they have asked? Its melting point is low, which makes solder suitable for welding. So solder alloy is an alloy which is having very low melting point. Hence they are going to use it for welding the electric wires. Next question, arrange the following metals in decreasing order of reactivity are sodium, potassium, copper and silver. So we know the reactivity series. In that reactivity series, these metals are going to be arranged in decreasing reactivity order. So potassium is having the high reactivity, then sodium, then copper, then silver. Silver is having very less reactivity, hence it is going to be placed lastly. So potassium is going to be having high reactivity and silver is having less reactivity. So this is the decreasing order of metals which are having decreasing order of reactivity. Next question is, what is the valency of silicon with atomic number 14? So they have given the atomic number of silicon, that is 14. So the valence electronic configuration can be written as 2, 8, 4. So we are seeing that here 4 valence electrons are present in the last cell. Hence its valence electrons are going to be 4. So it has the capacity to distribute or share these 4 valence electrons with other elements. Hence its valence is going to be 4. Its valence is 4 because it can share 4 electrons to become stable with other elements or atoms. Next question is, which of the following two metals will melt at body temperature, that is at 37 degrees Celsius? The metals given are gallium, magnesium, cesium and aluminium. So the answer is gallium and cesium will melt at the body temperature because they are having the low melting point than our body temperature. So gallium is always present in liquid form at the room temperature. Next question is, why do we use gold and platinum metals in jewelry? So the answer is, gold and platinum are two lustrous metals and do not react with substances present in the atmosphere because they are available in the nature in the purest form. Hence they are very less reactive. Hence they cannot react with the substances present in the atmosphere. Therefore remain lustrous for long time and they cannot lose their lustrous when they are kept in the atmosphere for the long time. Next question is, what is the valency of phosphorus with atomic number 15? They have given the atomic number of phosphorus as 15. So we have to write the valency of phosphorus. So first we are going to write the electronic configuration of phosphorus. So when atomic number is known, it is very easy to write the electronic configuration. The electronic configuration of copper is going to be 2, 8, 5. That means it is having 5 valence electrons in its outermost shell. So hence its valence electrons are 5. To become stable, it needs 3 more electrons. Hence its valency becomes 3. So its valency is 3 because it can gain 3 electrons to become stable. So the valency of phosphorus is 3. Next question is, why do we use copper and aluminum wire for transmission of electric current? You know that because copper and aluminum are good conductors of electricity. Hence we are going to use copper and aluminum for the transmission of electric currents. Next question is, name two metals which are found in the nature in the free form, that is in the purest form. So we have to name the two metals which are going to be always present in the nature in their purest form or free form. The answer is gold and silver and platinum. These are the three metals which are going to be found in the nature in their free state or purest forms. Next question is, why do we apply paint on iron grills? Because iron is a metal which reacts easily with the atmospheric moisture and oxygen to get converted into rust. Hence, to prevent the rusting of iron, so we are going to paint grills. So iron grills are painted to prevent them from rusting. So this is the answer. Next question is, in nature aluminum is found in combined state, that means in the form of ores and minerals. So whereas silver, gold are found in free state, give reason. So the answer is, aluminum is a reactive metal, therefore it is found in combined state, that means in the form of ores and minerals, whereas silver and gold are less reactive than the aluminum metal, hence they are found in the free state or pure form in the nature. Next question, a non-metal X exists in two different forms, Y and Z. So they have given a non-metal X which is going to be present in two different forms. Those two different forms are Y and Z. So Y is the hardest known natural substance, whereas Z is good conductor of electricity. Identify X, Y and Z. Here the X is a non-metal which is going to be showing two different forms. That if the elements which shows two different physical forms, then they are having allotropy property. So X is having the allotropy property. Here the allotropy property which is going to be exhibited by this element is carbon. So X is carbon. Y is the diamond because it is the hardest known natural substance which is going to be present in the nature. And the allotropy of carbon which is good conductor of electricity is graphite. So Z is graphite. X is carbon, Y is diamond and Z is graphite. Next question is, name the metals which have low melting point. The two metals which are having low melting point are gallium and cesium. So these are having less melting point than the room temperature that is 37 degree body temperature, that is 37 degrees Celsius. Next question is, choose the amphoteric oxides among the following: sodium oxide, zinc oxide, aluminum oxide, carbon dioxide and water. So these are the oxides. So from these oxides we have to choose the amphoteric oxides. Amphoteric oxide means the oxides which are having both acidic as well as basic properties, those are called as what? Amphoteric oxides. So the answer is zinc oxide and aluminum oxides are the two amphoteric oxides from this given oxides. So the next question is, why does calcium float in water? Calcium is a metal which floats when we add it in the water, or when we throw it in the water, it is going to float on the water. So the answer is, calcium form hydrogen gas on reaction with water. When we add the calcium into the water, it vigorously reacts with water and liberates hydrogen gas. These hydrogen gas bubbles are going to be sticks to the calcium metal, and that is why calcium floats in the water. So the bubbles of hydrogen gas are going to bring the calcium metal to the surface of the water, hence calcium floats on the water. So the reaction is when calcium reacts with water, it forms calcium hydroxide and hydrogen gas is going to be liberated. Ca plus 2H2O arrow marks, Ca into bracket OH taken twice plus hydrogen gas is going to be liberated. Next question is, a green layer is gradually formed on copper plate when it is left exposed to air for a week in a bathroom. What could this green substance be in? So the answer is, the green substance is basic copper carbonate. The formula of basic copper carbonate is calcium carbonate, copper carbonate dot copper hydroxide. That means CuCO3 dot Cu into bracket OH taken twice. Because when copper is exposed to air, it reacts with the oxygen of the air and forms copper oxide. This copper oxide in turn reacts with carbon dioxide of the atmosphere and forms basic copper carbonate. This basic copper carbonate is greenish in color, hence a greenish layer is going to be formed on the copper. Its formula is going to be CuCO3 dot Cu into bracket OH taken twice. So the next question is, which gas is liberated when metals reacts with an acid? How will you test this gas? So when metals reacts with acids, they are going to liberate hydrogen gas. This hydrogen gas can be tested by hydrogen gas is formed. When we bring the burning splinter near the gas, it will burn with pop-up sound. That means the hydrogen gas is a highly inflammable gas, hence it burns with a pop-up sound. So when metals reacts with acid, they are going to liberate hydrogen gas. So the next question is, why do ionic compounds have high melting point? So ionic compounds are formed by positively and negatively charged ions. So due to the positive and negative charges, there is a high force of attraction between the ions. Hence ionic compounds are strong in nature. Hence to separate these ions we need high amount of energy, hence they require high heat, hence they are having high melting point. So the answer is, it is due to strong force of attraction between positively charged and negatively charged ions. So the next question is, why do ionic compounds conduct electricity in molten state and not in solid state? So the answer is, ionic compounds do not conduct electricity in solid state because ions are not going to be free or separated from the compounds and not move freely in the water or liquid. In molten state or in dissolved state, ions are free to move. Hence, these freely moving ions give the conductivity or electric conductivity to the compounds. Next question is, name a non-metal which is lustrous whereas a metal which is non-lustrous. So the answer is, iodine is the lustrous non-metal and lead is the non-lustrous metal. Next question is, why sulfide and carbonate ores are converted into oxides? So it is because oxides are more easier to reduce than sulfides and carbonates. So when they are get converted into oxide, it is very easy to reduce them to pure metals. Hence they are first going to be converted into oxides. Before sulfides and carbonates ore are subjected to purification, first they are going to be converted into oxides. So the next question is, from amongst the metal, sodium, calcium, aluminium, copper and magnesium, name the metal which reacts with water only on boiling, another one which does not react with even with steam. So the answer is magnesium. So magnesium, when magnesium is heated, then it is going to be react with water. So copper is the metal which does not react even with the steam when it is going to be heated. So the next question is, define alloy, how an alloy is prepared. So first we have to define the alloy. Alloy is an homogeneous mixture of two or more metals. One of them can be a non-metal also. Alloys are also made by melting two metals together and then cooling it. So this is the process of making an alloy.